Hello kids, this is Miss Supriti, your English teacher. In this video, we are going to discuss about the poem Somebody's Mother by Mary Dowbrine. Now this is Unit 1, Section 3 of your English textbook. So we are going to learn about this poem. Before I begin the poem, let us know a little bit about the poetess. She is Mary Dowbrine, born in the year 1816 and died in the year 1913. She was an American poet, author and lyricist. She was born in New York. She has written many poems and children's books published by numerous important publishers. Children, you can also find information about her in your textbook. Page number 36. Mary Dow Northam-Brine was an American poet, author and lyricist. She was born in New York. She has written many poems and children's books that has been published by numerous important publishers. So this is a little information about Mary Dowbrine. Now let us begin with the poem. This is page number 35 of your textbook. Section 3, Somebody's Mother. An old woman nervously waits to cross the road. A young schoolboy sees her anxiety and rushes to help her. Why does he do so? So, the overall poem talks about an old woman who was nervous and who waits to cross the road, since maybe she was old enough, and there is a young schoolboy who could understand her condition and rushes to help her. But why does he do so? Let us read the poem now. The woman was old and ragged and grey, and bent with the chill of the winter's day. The street was wet with the recent snow, and the woman's feet were aged and slow. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for, amid the throng of human beings who passed her by. None heeded the glance of her anxious eye. So in the first two stanzas, as I have read, you can see the woman was old and ragged and grey. Okay. Ragged here means worn out or not so good, in good condition, and grey here means old or aged. Okay, you can see here grey here means aged. Okay, and old and ragged and grey describes about the condition of the old woman. So we consider it as a figure of speech, that is hyperbole, which are the statements which are exaggerated, but it literally is exaggerated to make the reader understand the condition of the woman. The woman was old, ragged and grey, and bent with the chill of winter's day. Bent with the chill of the winter's day means the winter was so cold, so extreme, that the women could not bear the cold, and that is why the old woman was bent down. The street was wet with a recent snow, and the women's feet were aged and slow. Since it was very chill, since it was very cold, the woman could not stand properly, so she was bent down, and the road was wet with the recent snow, but the women's feet was very old, very aged, so it was very slow. The woman was old and ragged and grey, and bent with the chill of the winter's day. The street was wet with a recent snow, and the women's feet were aged and slow. So since she was very old, since she could not move very fast, and on the top of that the street was wet with the recent snow, so it was difficult for her to walk properly. Second stanza. She stood at the crossing. Crossing here, children, means traffic crossing, and waited long, alone, uncared for. Uncared for means no one cared about her. No one cared that she was not able to cross the road. Amid the throng. Amid here means in the middle of, in the midst, or you can see throng. Throng here means crowd. Throng means crowd. So in the middle of the crowd, she was alone. No one cared for her. No one found her that she was unable to cross the traffic, and for that reason she had to wait for a long period of time. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for. That means no one cared for. Amid, in the middle of the throng. The throng here means crowd. Of human beings who passed her by, none heeded the glance of her anxious eye. So crowd of human beings, they all were passing her by. They all were doing their own job. They were not cared for, this old woman. None heeded. Heeded here means paid attention to. So nobody paid attention to this old lady. Nobody paid attention to the condition of this old lady, and everybody were passing her by. None heeded the glance. Glance means nobody looked at her. Nobody looked at her with caring of her anxious eye. Nobody could see that she was worried. She was worried because of what? She was worried because she could not cross the road. Why? First thing is the street was wet with the recent snow, and second thing was she was very old. She was very aged, so she could not walk fast, and that's why she could not cross the road. So even though the street was crowded by human beings, but they all were passing her by, and nobody paid attention to this old lady. Nobody cared about this old lady, and nobody even could find that her eyes are worried. She was worried that she was not able to pass by. So see, I will read the first two stanzas again for you. The woman was old and ragged and grey and bent with the chill of the winter's day. The street was wet with a recent snow, and the women's feet were aged and slow. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for, amid the throng of human beings who passed her by. None heeded the glance of her anxious eye. Children, let us move on to the third stanza of the poem. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, came the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow piled white and deep. Past the women so old and grey, hastened the children on their way, nor offering a helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir. The third and fourth stanza. So the lady was standing, the old lady was standing over there. She was worried that nobody was even cared about her, nobody even helping her to cross the road. Then after that, suddenly down the street there was this noise of laughter and shout. Glad in the freedom. Glad means here means children happy. Happy in the freedom of school let out. School let out here means, children see here, school let out. That means the school has finished, so they are now leaving it. So they were laughing, they were shouting with happiness. Came the boys like a flock of sheep. So here, children, we have discussed before the figures of speech. So here you can easily find out that came the boys like a flock of sheep. There is a comparison with the use of the word like. So by this time I know you could have guessed the figure of speech. Children, which figure of speech has been used here? Simile, comparison between two things with the use of the word like. So this line suggests the figure of speech, that is simile. Flock here means a group of. Okay, flock here means a group of. So the group of boys, the boys after the school let out, they came outside with laughter and shout like a flock of sheep. Hailing the snow piled white and deep. Hailing means cheering, greeting, playing with the snow. Piled up means heaped up, okay, which has been piled up, heaped up like white and deep. The color of the snow, it was white and deep. So they were cheering, they were greeting, they were laughing, they were shouting. They were so happy to come out of the school as if it was a flock of sheep. So a figure of speech simile has been used here. Now come to the fourth stanza, children. Past the women so old and grey. So when we go ahead with the old lady who was very old and grey. Grey here means very gloomy, very dull, very old. Hastened. Hastened means moving very quickly. Hastened the children on their way, nor offering a helping hand to her. So meek, so timid, afraid to stir. So even though this group of children who came out of the school could see that the lady was very old, very grey, very gloomy, very dull, but they were moving so quickly and they were so busy on their own way that nobody even offered a helping hand. Okay, nobody offered a helping hand. Nobody could offer her a helping hand to cross the road. Why they should offer an helping hand? She wanted to cross the road, but nobody helped her to cross the road. Although they could see that she was meek. Meek here means very quiet, very gentle. She was meek. She was timid. Timid means very scared, very shy to cross the road. Afraid to stir. To stir here means to move or to walk. So even though this group of children who came out of the school, they could see the old lady, but nobody helped her, even though they could find that she was scared, she was shy, she was very quiet, she was not able to cross the road, she was not able to move, she was not able to walk also. So I will read the third and fourth stanza once again for you. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, came the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow piled with white and deep. Past the women who so old and grey, hastened the children on their way, nor offering a helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir. I hope you have understood the first four stanzas. So once the school reopens, we can discuss further. Any doubt if you have, you can just note it down on your textbook. We will discuss. So I told you the figure of speech. In the first stanza, hyperbole has been used here in the first line, and in the third stanza, as you can see here, simile has been used. Let us move on to the fifth stanza. Lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street, at last came one of the merry troop, the gayest laddie of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, I will help you cross if you wish to go. Her aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so, without hurt or harm. So among this whole group of boys or children who came out, there was one such a boy who came forward to help the old lady. Okay, lest the carriage, okay, lest here means so that, not the carriage wheels or the horse's feet, okay, should crowd her down the slippery street. Slippery, already it has told that the street was covered with recent snow, so already it is wet, and should crowd her down to push her down or to walk over her, because she was standing in a place, she could not move. So that the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should not stamp on her or should not push her on the slippery street. At last came one of the merry troop. Merry means very cheerful, very lively. Troop here means group. The gayest laddie of all the group, the cheerful one. Laddie here means a boy. The cheerful boy, one of the most cheerful boy of the group, he came forward, and what he did, he paused, he stopped there beside her and whispered low, whispered, very low voice. What he said? He said, I will help you cross. I will help you cross the road. If you wish to go, if you want to cross the road, I will help you. her aged hand on his strong young arm. So the lady was ready to cross the road with the help of the young boy. Her aged hand, once again, it is trying to reflect on the age of the old lady. Her aged hand on his strong young arm. On his means the gay laddie or the cheerful boy. She placed on her arm, and so without hurt or harm. So here in this line you can see there is one more figure of speech which has been used, children. I know you could have guessed it. That is, she placed and so without hurt or harm. Repetition of the similar sound here. She, so, hurt or harm. What it is called? It is called as alliteration. I know you know what figure of speech has been used here. So alliteration has been used here. So in the 5th and 6th stanza, we came to know that the lady was waiting and there was one cheerful boy who came out to help her crossing the road. He whispered, he told her very low voice that I will help you, and he hold her arm, he hold her old hand, and without hurting her, without harming her, he successfully helped the old lady to cross the road. Children, I hope you have understood these stanzas. I will read it out once again. Lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. The carriage wheels or the horse's feet should not crowd her down, should not push her, should not walk over her in the slippery street. At last came one of the merry troop, the gayest laddie of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, I will help you cross if you wish to go. Her aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so without hurt or harm. So here what figure of speech has been used? Alliteration. Repetition of the similar sound is called as alliteration. Now next page, page number 36. He guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were firm and strong. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. He guided whom? He guided the old lady. The trembling feet, trembling feet here means the feet which was shivering because she was afraid, she was scared to cross the road. He guided the old lady along, and he felt very proud of himself that he was so strong, he was so firm, he was so strong that he could help the old lady to cross the road. Then back again to his friends he went. He went back to his group, he went back to his friends, and he told about this to his friends, and he was well content. Content here means he was completely satisfied, he was completely fulfilled, his heart was happy, he was very happy to narrate this to his friends. That means he was feeling proud enough that he could help somebody that day. Next stanza. She is somebody's mother, boys, you know, for all she is aged and poor and slow. And I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother, you understand, if ever she is poor and old and grey, when her own dear boy is far away. So he is explaining, the cheerful boy is explaining to his friends that she is somebody's mother. Boys, you know, for all she is aged and poor and slow. And I hope some fellow will lend a hand. Lend a hand means help in difficult time. To help my mother, you understand, if ever she is poor and old and grey, when her own dear boy is far away. So he is explaining that, friends, today she is somebody's mother. Some other day it could be your mother or my mother who would have been old or poor or grey, and somebody should lend a hand in her difficult times when her own son would be far away. She is somebody's mother, boys, you know, for all she is aged and poor and slow, and I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother, you understand, if ever she is poor and old and grey, when her own dear boy is far away. So as I have helped somebody's mother, maybe some other day somebody else will help my mother when her dear boy would be far away. Last stanza of the poem, children. And somebody's mother bowed her head. Bowed her head here means to sat to pray in her home that night, and the prayer she said was, God, be kind to the noble boy who is somebody's son and pride and joy. So that old lady who is somebody's mother bowed her head down, sat for a prayer, and she prayed for whom? She prayed for somebody's son, a boy who helped her having somebody's son. So she prayed for somebody's son. What did she pray? She prayed that God be kind to this noble boy who is somebody's son, and pride and joy. Give him pride, give him joy, give him happiness, and bless him, this noble boy that is somebody's son who has helped somebody's mother. So we may not know that who is whom, who is somebody's mother, who is somebody's son. We should not think like that, but we should think that somebody needs help. Somebody needs help in difficult time. So we must be ready all the time to help those people, because someday, some other day, it could be my mother or your mother who needs help, and somebody's son or somebody's daughter might come and help them. So we should always be ready to help somebody, to help some poor, some old people who are always in need. We should help them. We should help them in every situation, in every condition they are. Okay, I hope you have understood the poem. I will read out this three stanzas once again. He guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were firm and strong. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. She is somebody's mother, boys, you know, for all she is aged and poor and slow. And I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother, you understand? If ever she is poor and old and grey, when her own dear boy is far away. And somebody's mother bowed her head in her home that night, and the prayer she said was, God, be kind to the noble boy who is somebody's son and pride and joy. So I hope you have understood the poem. Any doubt, you can just jot it down on your textbook. We will discuss after the school reopens. There are some questions given here, children, as you can see. On the basis of your understanding of the poem, take the best option for the answer. Do this as a part of your homework, question A and B. Just do it in the textbook. Question number 2, why was it difficult for the women to cross the road? I have explained it to you. The answer you can find in the first few stanzas. Also, why it is given over there. Okay, children? So try to write it down on your own. Who helped the old lady? This also I have told you, who helped the old lady. What was his reason for helping her? This also I have explained it. Everything is given in the stanzas. If you read, you will definitely get the answer, and the language is so simple that you can understand it by yourself. What was the old woman's reaction to being helped? What was the reaction of the old woman after she was helped by the cheerful boy? Pick a simile from this poem and explain it. I have explained to you there is a figure of speech which has been used as simile here. Which stanza? I think you must remember, came the boys like a flock of sheep. You can underline this line and you can just explain this line. I know you can write all the question answers on your own because they are very easy and simple, and I have explained the poem also, and the poem is also in a very simple language, and the meanings are already given in the textbook. Now let us move on to what are the things which are used in the poem. I have told you about the author already. Now let me just tell you the summary of the poem. In a winter evening, an old woman was waiting to cross a busy road near a school. She was alone, wearing ragged clothes, waiting for the traffic to stop so that she could cross to go to the other side of the road. Suddenly, children came out of the school as it closed for the day. They passed the lonely old women, but none paid any attention to the old lady. However, one of the boys, very cheerful and lively, saw this lady waiting to cross the road. He ran to help her cross the road. As he went back to his friends, he said he helped the old lady, thinking someday someone would help her old mother in a similar situation when he might be far away from her. At home that night, the old lady prayed for the boy who had helped her cross the road. Her heart was overflowing with gratitude and pride. She prayed, God, be kind to him, somebody's son. It depicts wonderful values of love, care, sympathy, and generosity. I know, children, you would have also learned all these values from this very short poem, and the language is so simple that you can understand on your own. And there is also use of adjectives in the poem. For example, the old woman has been described as old, aged, slow, uncared, kind-hearted, and alone. Similarly, there are many other adjectives which are used for the boy also. So you find out the adjective. This is a task for you. You find out the adjectives and note it down in the textbook. We will discuss it later. And the figure of speech, while explaining the poem, I have explained it to you. You know, these are all figure of speech. Simile, a simile is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. I already told you which line represents the figure of speech simile. Alliteration, repetition of the first sound or sounds in a group of words. That also I told you which line represents alliteration. That also I told you. And hyperbole also I told you, the first line of the poem. I hope you have understood the poem. Any doubt, please note it down. We will discuss later on. And in the meanwhile, after listening to this video, you go and please watch these 3 YouTube links which I have shared on the screen. Okay, the first link which I have shared is a very short film about being caring and generous about people who need our help. The last 2 videos are about the recitation of the poem. You can just close your eyes and listen to the poem, and you will definitely understand each and every single line and the stanzas of the poem. Okay, another last thing I would like to tell you, children, is the use of rhyme scheme. So first let me go to the first stanza. What is the rhyme scheme of the first stanza, children? Grey, day, snow, slow. So these words are rhyming. Grey is rhyming with day, snow is rhyming with slow. So what is the rhyming scheme of the first stanza? Rhyming scheme is A, B, B of the first stanza. Similarly, what will be the rhyming scheme of the second stanza? Long, throng, they are rhyming. So A, by I, they are rhyming. B. If I take both the stanzas, what will be the rhyming scheme? A, B, C, D. So similarly, find out the rhyming scheme of all the stanzas and just note it down with pencil on your textbook. Okay, so hope you have understood, and once again I am showing it, the link I am showing it. Please watch the video, the first video. It is very interesting and exciting also to find out how people could be generous or how people could be caring or helpful towards others. The last 2 links are only recitation of the poem so that you can understand each and every single word of the poem. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.